All right, the first story at the top of antiwar.com today. The U.S. approved 100 arms deals for Israel since October 7th. So the Washington Post reported on Wednesday that the Biden administration has secretly approved more than 100 separate foreign military sales to Israel since October 7th to support the mass killing of Palestinians in Gaza. And we don't know how these sales are being funded. The U.S. does provide Israel with $3.8 billion in military aid each year, and $3.3 billion of that is what they call foreign military financing, and that is money that the U.S. gives to foreign governments to purchase American weapons. So, again, there's been over 100 sales here, and only 2 have been made public. One for $106 million in tank ammunition, and one for $147 million in components needed to make 155 millimeter artillery rounds. And these became public because the Biden administration bypassed Congress to push them through. If you remember, I covered both of those deals. And U.S. officials told the Washington Post that there was no public debate for the other 100 deals because the dollar value fell under the threshold needed to inform Congress. So it looks like they are doing a bunch of these little arms sales, so there's no oversight, so it doesn't need to be made public, so they can just do it quietly and secretly. Something I've been saying for a while is discussing how the U.S. has not been transparent at all about what they're sending Israel, about how this is being paid for. But yet they're shipping all these weapons. The Pentagon was saying at one point they were shipping weapons on a near daily basis to Israel. And this explains some of it, I think, that they're doing just these little sales that they could probably do quickly just to keep it out of the public eye, as Biden is coming under pressure for supporting this genocidal campaign in Gaza. And the report said that U.S. officials told Congress during a classified briefing that the hundreds of sales amounted to thousands of precision-guided munitions, small-diameter bombs, bunker busters, small arms, and other types of lethal aid, what they call lethal aid, which means aid that can kill people. So the exact number of bombs and other types of equipment that the U.S. has delivered to Israel since October 7th is not clear. The Wall Street Journal reported on December 1st that the U.S. had provided Israel with 57,000 artillery shells and 15,000 bombs, including massive bunker busters, but that figure must be much higher at this point since that was published over 3 months ago. And this revelation about these 100 arms sales that the U.S. has approved for Israel, it comes as the Biden administration claims that it's pressuring Israel to allow more aid into Gaza, where children are starving to death and a major famine is imminent if it's not happening already. But the U.S. is not using its leverage over Israel. They're not threatening to cut off military aid. They're still providing this unconditional aid. So this just goes to show, you see these U.S. officials saying one thing, and they're also getting cover in the media. We see these reports about how frustrated that Biden is with Netanyahu. After Gantz visited Washington, there was these reports saying that, oh man, the U.S. officials really held his feet to the fire about what's happening in Gaza. But it's clear that they're not really, because they're still providing all these weapons. And on top of the, again, not exactly sure how these sales are being paid for. Israel has money. They can buy weapons, but the U.S. does give them a lot of military aid, and they're trying to give them another $14 billion, and that's part of that massive foreign military aid bill that passed through the Senate, but it still hasn't gone through the House.